Hey there, it's Dr. Fred, and we are starting the fourth section of Healed, L, Living in Now. It's going to be a game changer. So let me share my screen, just saying hello today, and let's get this going. You are more powerful. Introduces Healed, which you guys already know. 6 steps to living a more powerful, peaceful, inspired, soul purpose life. How cool is that? And then today, what we want to go through, if this decides to work, let's go to the next slide. Is healed. You know, the healed system. Honor God within yourself, right? We start by connecting with our divinity, exercise loving yourself and others. Once we get that, we begin to love ourselves like God loves us. We begin to exercise love, fill our bodies with love, fill the world with love. Then we can let go of our past. We've already been through these. Now we can have presence because all our emotional noise of the past is clear. We can hear the whispers, so we can establish purpose of mission and finally deliver it to the world. So today we're going through living in now, but we always start first. You're not a human being on a spiritual journey. You're a spiritual being on a human journey. What's that mean? We start with a spiritual reference point. Everything starts with our divinity first. When we understand our divinity, then we can get rid of all the emotional noise. We can reframe our human experience, and so that we can reframe the past, come into presence, and learn that time is actually vertical. So what we're going to go through today is L, living with now, and another word for that is living with presence. Presence is a powerful state. That's actually a spiritual state. People that live with presence can live with joy, happiness. They're connected to God within them. They're connected to God in the universe. Creativity flows in presence. Great world-changing ideas, concepts, and actions can happen with presence. So what's now defined? Well, it's at the present time. That makes sense. At this point, it's at this point in a series of events. I mean, you guys get this series of events. It's right now. It's at this point, right? It's as things are, and you guys get this. This is obvious. So we got to start with a reference point. So what's the difference between clock time versus actual time? Well, clock time is horizontal. What's that mean? There's a past, present, and future. What's that mean? Actual time is vertical. So in human time, when did clock's time form? If we are divine beings, that means we're eternal. We were never born. We'll never die. Energy is never lost. It's always transformed. We learned that in the beginning. So that means our spirit came into this body. Time started the second, the instant we were born. Because time, the only time that exists in the spirit world is right now. And that's why there's joy and peace and abundance, right? Because the only thing that exists is right now. So actual time is vertical. What's that mean? A second ago doesn't exist, right? It's already passed. A second from now hasn't occurred yet. So what we do is we can stay in the miraculous excitement of the next now moment. Past, present, and future are actually a perception. Why? Because we have meaning to our past experiences. Our brain loves the past, so it projects what's already known into the future. We can create future anxiety. And then present is based on your perception of now. So past, present, and future are all perception. What's that mean? Our whole life is just a perception. Our whole life is really just a perspective, because everybody really is living their own world based on their perspective. Hey man, if you complain about that the whole world looks yellow, then why do you have yellow glasses on, right? So can two people look at the same thing and have different perspectives? Yes. So that's all based on our past, present, future of our history with our reference points and our humanity, when really there is only this moment. If the past is a perception and the future is a perception, then now there's only this moment. So how are you going to perceive it? Well, all else is created in our mind. So we get that already. We've already explained it. So life is actually a continual series of now moments. So life is actually moving from one now moment to the next now moment to the next now moment. Now, what's that actually mean? When you understand this, then you can stay in the joy and peace of presence, right? You can raise your awareness to be totally aware of the energy all around you. You can actually connect with universal energy if you see that on a higher consciousness. Now we can create a continual series of now moments, but now moments don't have past. So why would we bring the pain of the past? Why would we reproduce? You know, you ever notice you recreate same patterns in life? You wouldn't do that if it's a continual series of now moments. And this is a separation between horizontal clock time and actual vertical time, which is actually what time is. So if we look at this, I use this as a metaphor, parting the Red Sea, because Moses is sitting there, right? He's got the Red Sea at his front, the Egyptians at his back. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're up against the Red Sea with Egyptians at your back and the problems are approaching. Well, so when you split that, that's like separating all the conditions in your life, coming into presence. Now all the noise is outside of you and the peace and presence inside of you is walking through that. See, we're supposed to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We're not supposed to camp there. Okay? So this is what it's like. It's like parting all the noise, coming into peace. And that's where God is. God is in the space, in the silence. That's where we separate ourselves, right? And we find that peace no matter what's outside of us. Now imagine what Moses felt like. This is Charlton Heston from the movie The Ten Commandments. Man, what presence was that? Egyptians at his back, the Red Sea. And then he gets into that moment and God creates a miracle. He literally knows he has the power and he knows that he's a servant and he can use that universal energy and God can create miracles at any time. When he comes into that vertical time, can you get into that consciousness and certainty and confidence that we are facing the Red Sea? You can part all the noise and God will provide a solution no matter what. That's your connection. That's honoring God within yourself. That's loving yourself. That's releasing the past. Is he looking at the past or he's looking at the power of the now moment that can find a solution when? Right now. Hey, if he can do it, we can do it. And that's what this is all about. So time is really an emotion. Well, that's fascinating. What's that mean? Because time is related to how you perceive time and how you choose to experience time in the moment. Have you ever been in an absolutely intolerable situation and it seems like the seconds seem like eternity, and then you can be in total joy and bliss and time flies by? Do you ever open up a cabinet, something's going to fall out? It's like it's moving in slow motion and you catch it. So time is really an emotion based on your perception and the meaning that you assign to your experiences. So it's how you choose to experience the moment and how you choose to experience time. Isn't that fascinating? You have a choice to be empowered or you have a choice to be anxious and stressed. What do you choose? So being overwhelmed is a common feeling when the emotional noise of the past and everything that you've experienced and all that certainty that you think you have, and you're bringing it into the present moment when that is so loud and the noise in your head because you haven't cleared it. If you haven't cleared it in forgiveness, then you're carrying all this emotional noise. That's why accepting forgiveness for yourself and others is first. So you clear that noise of your past, right? So you're not living in that noise at each moment. That's what creates overwhelm. How can you live in the moment and experience presence when you have all that noise in the past? That's why A is the previous step. So as spiritual beings, we actually seek presence. Why? Because we are presence. When we are consciousness. We are the beings before time, right? Because we're eternal. We were never born. We'll never die. We're in this body for a breath of time. How do you want to breathe? Through time. So we seek presence because every conscious being, every spiritual being seeks consciousness of our true self, which is our spirit, not our humanity. So when past and future create anxiety, we seek the presence of now. So how are you going to find it? So you'll create experience and conditions that demand your unwavering attention. So what gets your unwavering attention? Emergencies, right? We create experiences where we actually create a crisis that demand our attention. We get in an accident, we have an injury, we get sick. There's all these things that pull us into presence that eliminate all the noise around us, so we have to focus. So what do you create? You can be an adrenaline junkie. You can create life and death situations. You can create self-destructive situations, or you can just sit there and sniff a flower. You can go for a walk in nature. You can stare at the ocean. How you find presence is really going to be a choice that you choose to experience this. All these conditions remove the distractions. So as a spiritual being, just know you are going to seek presence. So when you go through the system, you eliminate your past, then we know we're going to remove all the obstacles, all the chaotic noise, so we can come into presence in a healthy way, not in a self-destructive way. So you'll do things that require your completely focused attention. So let me ask you a question. What activities do you do to find presence? People, you can use drugs or alcohol. People can use sex. They can use adrenaline junkie activities. They can use their work. They can sniff a flower. They can walk in nature. They can meditate. What activities do you do to satisfy that spiritual need of presence? So what have you done in your past to quiet the emotional noise? I know I've tried to bury that noise with drugs. I've buried it with alcohol. I've buried it with being an adrenaline junkie, and I've buried it with work, and I've done all those things. Now I do it in healthy ways. I do it with my girlfriend. We do it sitting on the couch. We do it walking by the beach. We do it staring into each other's eyes. We do it with a kiss. You do it with work. So can you find ways that actually move you along your soul purpose? We do it with meditation and actually come into consciousness with ourselves. So how can you come into presence in productive spiritual ways? This is a great exercise. I would stop right here. I would look at how you've done it in the past, healthy or self-destructive, and how you can change that. The door into presence, you begin to walk through that door from mind and spiritual consciousness and higher awareness by being present with your body. One way to get out of your mind and the noise is come in your body. You change your mind by feeling your body. When you focus on feeling your body, you come, because remember, we are spirit, mind, body. How do you get out of your mind? Get into your body. This is why in meditation tapes, feel it, relax your scalp, relax your eyelids, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, right? What are they doing? They're getting you into your body so you begin to quiet your mind. Now you come into presence by feeling the life force energy. Now when you meditate, just feel the energy in your body. Breathe. You breathe and you feel your breath, feel your body. See, breathing interrupts thought. When you're focused on breath, what are you not focused on? Thought. Breath is a great way to come into presence. Deep diaphragmatic breathing not only to bring you into presence, but it also oxygenates your body, stimulates healing. So you come into presence, get out of your mind by feeling your body. Now there's two levels of your pain. The pain that you create now, and that's pain from your past that still lives on in your mind and body. This is why you go through A first. So if you're still feeling crowded in your mind, if you still are carrying stuff, notice my hands, body language, from your past in your mind, go back to A and then come back to L. You can go through this. You can have moments, but the more moments of presence you have, the less you're focused on your past. And you develop a tool. This is a tool that you repeat and develop skill so that you can continue to come into presence. Because your spirit is going to seek presence. Your humanity wants to feel the pain. So you get rid of the pain. You connect with your divinity by beginning to get in your body. Consciousness is the way out of pain. The pain you create now is always some form of non-acceptance, right? Some form of unconscious resistance to what is. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. So what's this mean? Whatever you resist, persists. Why? Because whatever you're fighting, whatever you're focused on, what you don't want is what you're focusing on. That's why it comes back. So non-acceptance. Acceptance is the path to peace. We go through that in the A section. We also go through that in the E section, exercise loving yourself and others. Why? Acceptance does not mean that you agree. What it means is you're acknowledging what exists. And by acknowledging it and accepting it, you're not resisting it. By actually, and we learn in the E section, by actually loving it, you can find the gift, because everything has a gift. Many times from your greatest pain, you find your soul purpose, and we learn that in the A section. So you can see each section is building and compounding each on the next section. So that's why we have to understand the previous ones to really understand this. So resistance and non-acceptance, and that resistance is what continues that emotional noise that takes us out of presence. Non-forgiveness implies a heavy burden of psychological time. What's a burden of psychological time? Our past. What do we have to, why does our past cling to us? Because there's non-forgiveness. We didn't let go of that emotion. Again, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Great reference point, great book for learning presence, right? Non-forgiveness means we're still carrying the emotional noise from the past. And what's that do? That keeps past, present, and future, because now the past comes into our present. We project the past into a predictable future because we want certainty. And now we're living on this horizontal time with all this pain and emotional noise. Then we can't find presence. When you're present in this moment, you break the continuity of your story. You're really breaking past and future. True intelligence arises and also love. So when we get rid of that, when we can breathe, feel vertical time, like feel your body in this moment. A second goes past, a second from now doesn't exist. Feel excitement for the now moment. And we're not predicting the future, we're just excited about the unknown. Man, then creativity begins to flow. Accept your current circumstances, then act. So whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it, because you did. Always work with it, not against it. Again, resistance is what keeps you stuck. Make it your friend, not your enemy. When you make it your enemy, that resistance is what keeps it alive in your body. And this will miraculously transform your whole life. Why? Because when we love things, they're not problems anymore. Make it your ally. We learn in A&E, find the gift, love your problems. They're not problems anymore. Acceptance is the path to peace. To remain on the spiritual side, on the door of presence, is to practice total acceptance of every person, every condition, and everything in your life. What's that mean? That means every person is on their own soul journey. Love them because you love humanity. They're another innate being. They may have a different consciousness than you. They may be living a completely different life. They have a different soul purpose. But with acceptance, you love them unconditionally. You accept who they are. It doesn't mean you have to be in relationship with them. It means you get to define the very specific relationship, and you set boundaries because you have core values, and you learn that in E. But acceptance means I'm not resisting it. And then you don't create all the emotional noise and pain. Non-acceptance creates the incessant pain, noise, judgment, frustration, and limiting language you speak to yourself. Because why? Because now you're not bitching, they're this, you're not bitching about it, they're that. Why do they do this? I'm trying to understand it. Why can't they just do that? Oh my God, that's so much noise. When you say, hey, I accept them the way they are. I don't agree with their behavior. They're on their own path with God. That's their challenge. I get to choose a relationship that we have with them based on your core values. That's loving yourself, that's setting boundaries, and that's even loving other people. Because that noise impairs your creativity, peace, joy, and your intellect because it distracts your focus. See, if we're going to be creative, we're going to fulfill soul purpose, if we're going to do things we've never done before, then our focus is so important. That peace and silence that taps into our soul, SOUL creativity, is what takes us to the next level. Taking responsibility gives you the ability to respond. What's that mean? If I resist, I take responsibility. If I accept, I take responsibility. One leads to anxiety, the other leads to peace. Both are created by you. Now, seen from a higher spiritual perspective, understanding that all conditions, which conditions? All conditions are a result of the energy and consciousness from yourself. So if you have pain, that's from your consciousness. If you have peace, that's from your consciousness. How are you perceiving time? Past, present, future, or vertical time. Your perception is your responsibility. Now, once you take that, then you have the responsibility to change your mind. How cool is that? So here's 5 steps. How many steps come into presence? 1, breathe. Get in your body, feel your body, clear your mind. 2, raise your consciousness. What's that mean? Go back into love. Breathe and feel total love in every cell of your body and between all the cells. Create a higher perspective. See from a higher consciousness. See from the beingness and the emotion of love. Take responsibility that whatever we're feeling, that we perceive that. So we can perceive pain, but now we transmute that into love. And then apologize to yourself. I'm sorry, right? I perceive that in a lower conscious way. That's great. But now, breathe. I can fill it from love. See from a higher consciousness. Come into presence. Raise my consciousness. And now from a new state, from a new consciousness, I can perceive it with a different emotion and meaning. There you go. You probably want to go through this a few times. Now, when you live in the past, what are emotions of the past? Guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness. These are all non-forgiveness. So when you feel any of these emotions, you know you're bringing the past in your present. What's living in the future? Anytime you have unease, anytime you're anxious, you're fearful of a future moment, tension, stress, all worry, those are all forms of fear where you're bringing your past and you're projecting it into the future, and you're worried about things that haven't even been created yet. So when you feel unease, anxiety, then you know you're bringing your future into your present. Guilt, resentment, shame, bring your past into your present. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, bring your future into your present. What do? Breathe. Feel the moment now. Feel your body. Do we have any problems right now? No, absolutely none. Develop the skill of coming into vertical time, meditating, getting in your body, feeling a higher consciousness, and then you can see things from a different perspective. And that's how you eliminate time from the present moment, because this is really all the time we have. Past and future, veil God from my sight. Burn them both up with fire. Rumi, a great mystical teacher and poet of Islam. What's that mean? Past and future, emotional noise. What do? They block presence. God is in the silence. God is not in the noise. He's in the silence between all the noises. So you get in silence, you connect with your innate, you connect with God. Now love moves through you, peace moves through you, creativity moves through you, right? Now you become more empowered. There's no greater obstacle to God than time. That's bringing perceptions of past and future into your present. That's the greatest obstacle, because it's unnecessary noise. It clouds your mind, clouds your spirit, stops you from feeling yourself, your God self. Well, what problems do you have right now? And what's the reality? None. You have no problems in vertical time. In your willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. This comes from the law of detachment. When we step into presence, we're stepping, the only thing that's known is this moment. It's vertical time. You literally surrender. You give up past and future. And now we come into the dance of infinite possibility that can happen in the next now moment and this moment. Thought is a process. You are not the process. You are the being before the process. You are consciousness. So when you see your mind is bringing the past to the present, you're worried about the future. Realize, man, my mind is just going in 8 million different directions, running on and on. I'm not my mind. I can observe my mind. I can observe that voice that's going on. Who is that voice anyway in your mind? Right? We say, I am consciousness. Breathe. And you feel that consciousness and you calm that voice. That voice becomes quiet. Now you feel your being, you feel your spirit, you come into your consciousness of who you really are. Now your consciousness overrides your thought. How cool is that? So feel the silence in the space before the noise, all the noise out in the universe. You exist before the physical universe. You see, hear, and feel the noise and realize that you are the existence before the creation of noise and matter. You exist before all this is created. You are the process of creation, and you be in that space and you feel, you become aware of that consciousness. Now you come into the infinite possibility and creation and presence of your spirit. How cool is that? Learn the difference between your mind and intuition. Learn the difference, because in your mind, past and future and presence, there's intuition. That's how you stay connected. So know the difference. When you harness the force of harmony, joy, and love, you create success and good fortune with effortless ease. Deepak Chopra, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. So when you harness the force of harmony, joy, and love, how do you come into that? You come into presence, breathe, feel your body, fill yourself with harmony, joy, and love. Get into that perspective and then radiate that out and be in that tone. Now walk through the earth in present time, enjoying experiences as they happen. Now you have success and good fortune. Love is one of the most powerful manifesting energies. Heart energy is 5,000 times the energy of mind energy. Why? Because we have harnessed the forces of our heart, joy, and love. We create on a whole nother level. Now things become easy. In time, then you'll discover when you do this, your mind becomes quiet. There's more moments of smooth flowing state accompanied by peaceful, joyful feeling. Wow, why? Because we intentionally create that in our body. When you're present, thoughts flow easily through your mind. You're not hung up on the emotion. There's no forced thoughts. Creativity flows, your intuition flows. And from that space, your highest answer, when your highest level of consciousness, your highest answer comes to you. How cool is that? And it comes to you with effortless ease. Law of opposites. This comes from Neil Donald Walsh and Happier Than God. When you see what you don't want in life, then you let it pass, right? And the less it will appear. So just because you come into presence, joy, and love, are you going to have other things happen to you? What's going to happen? The universe is going to give you that choice again. Hey, here's the pain you once experienced. Now, when you say, you know what? I'm above that. My consciousness is above that. And you say no. Part of the reason that patterns continue is we keep choosing the pain of the past in our present, and then it keeps coming. But when you choose a higher conscious, when you choose love, when you exercise love in yourself, when you choose your divinity, when you come into presence, will you still see those things? Yes, but when you say no, that's okay. I accept it. I'm not going to resist it and perpetuate it. I just say I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to choose that. You accept it lovingly and you let it pass. Then eventually you've already learned that lesson. You call it complete, and now it won't appear anymore. Why? Because eventually you don't even have consciousness of it. How cool is that? Now all those things just dissipate away. Now what are you immersed in? Joy, love, and peace. So 5 steps to acceptance and choosing again. Number 1, recognize it. Why? Because it's going to appear. Now acknowledge its presence. Say, yes, there it is, with peace, without judgment. Be thankful that it presented to you, because the universe has given you an opportunity to make a new choice. Release it back into the universe, because it came from the universe. Accept it. Release it back into the universe. Now, then expect the next step is exactly what you do want, right? So we don't choose it. We say, thank you for that. We let that dissipate back, and now we expect exactly what we do desire to come into our life. Hey, these 5 steps will change your life. Recognize it, acknowledge it, be thankful for it, release it, and expect to receive exactly what you do want. How cool is that? If you have a vision and a passion to pursue it, God has promised you that it will be there. Whether you know the path right now, it doesn't matter. Remain present despite the challenges and work on continually mastering yourself. If you have a vision and a passion to pursue it because it's your sole purpose, God will bring it to you regardless of you see right now. Stay present. Don't get worried about it. Don't have anxiety in the future, right? Accept it. Let it pass. Stay present and be excited for the next new thing and the next step that you're going to be given, the 5 steps. Surrender and let go. Letting go is about having courage to release past. It's about having the wisdom to embrace the present. Man, there is brilliance right there. It's not having the courage for forgiveness. It's about having wisdom to embrace what is now. By embracing what's now, you automatically release the past. Now, if you need to release past emotions, then go back to A. But when you focus on now, past doesn't matter because it's already gone. That is true universal wisdom right there. Surrendering is letting go of the need for certainty of conditions, right? Because what's our brain wants to do? It wants to survive. Certainty is our primary human need. So it's not submitting, it's allowing rather than pushing and pulling and forcing, right? We follow universal guidance. We take action while paying attention to our intuition. What's that mean? We stay in peace, we powerfully act, and we follow divine guidance. That is surrendering. Surrendering, acceptance is part of surrendering. It's not giving up. It's allowing, accepting, and taking empowered action. Resistance leads to sufferings. Surrender leads to bliss. Resistance is a decision to act alone, right? Because what are you doing? You're trying to push away. Surrender is a decision to act with God. Because acceptance, being in the now moment, being excited about the infinite possibility, is acting with the universe. Paul Ferrini, Reflections of a Christ Mind, great book. Gratitude is a tool for presence. Quiet your mind. Why? Because brings you into presence and gets you out of the past, right? It's releasing the emotions of the past. It's releasing anxiety of the future and transmutes fear into love, because gratitude is about love. Gratitude is a bridge from fear into love. Gratitude moves you beyond the story of the past and moves you straight into presence. Why? Thank you, God, that this is what exists. Thank you, God, that you're bringing me this. It completely changes your focus, whatever that is, right? Gratitude changes your state, brings you back into love, brings you back into presence, brings you into unity with the universe around you. So when you're feeling anxiety, this is a tool, and you use this tool repetitively till it's a skill. So when you feel anxiety, when you feel stress, if you feel everything, first of all, go back, any negative emotion, go back to the A, right? Go through forgiveness. But what's a tool you can use right now? Gratitude. Thank you that this is passing. Thank you that I stay present. Thank you that you're delivering everything. Thank you that I'm a being of your abundance and love. That gratitude is a universal elixir, man. What's that mean? It's the universe. It's a universal force that fixes everything, brings you back into love. Love has 5,000 times the manifesting power to create miracles in your life. Gratitude becomes easier when you realize you don't have to fix yourself. How about that? It's like, thank God you've already made me perfect, right? I am a child of God. You've created me in perfection. The rest is just a human experience. The pressure of who do I have to become? I got to fix all these problems. Oh my God, it's way too much stress. Thank you, God, that I can release my past. I can see from a higher emotion. I can see from love so I can love myself. Go back to exercise, loving yourself and others. When you realize you have and are enough now, man, I'm everything right now. Every event has a purpose in my life, and I take that gift and move forward. When gratitude replaces judgment, peace spreads throughout your body, gentleness embraces your soul, wisdom fills your mind. Man, that is a completely new state. When you're in that state, it's easy to come to presence. Man, you are in peace. Now you get into vertical time. This is all from Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations from God. What a great leader and great series of books. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with the power. Man, that is it. Gratitude keeps us connected with God, the universe, our power. You're more powerful than you think. That means connect with your spirit. Be above the consciousness of your mind, because you're the being before your thought. How cool is that? If you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat, man. That means you got to get into presence. You got to be in vertical time. You got to be above the wind and the waves, right? Jesus calls to Peter, of all the 12 apostles, the only one that gets out of the boat, walks on water to Jesus. When storms arise around us, be in the center. It doesn't matter how much the wind is blowing, right? It's you are being called. Walk on water. You know, Peter almost gets to Jesus, looks around at the wind and the waves. What's happening? He looked at the storm. What's he start to do? Sink. So Jesus puts out his hand. You of little faith, right? He walks all that way, and then he gets caught up in our mind. That's a metaphor for us. We can come into presence, but we're all going to have our human moments. In that moment, get in the center. And when you love those challenges, when you see the gift, the storm automatically calms down. Have faith. You see this, God sees this. Sometimes we just got to see what God sees. Just makes life a hell of a lot easier, right? The picture to the left is our past. It's our future. Man, God's already ahead of us. He paved a straight road. What we got to do is walk and say, thank you, God, that you're ahead of me. I'm walking the path that you've created for me. It doesn't matter what's on the outside of this road. I'm following this road, and thank you that it is paved, smooth, and straight, regardless of what's going on the side. You will go straight down that road. Affirmations. I now create all good things in my life. I'm now happy, healthy, and whole. I now manifest all good things with just a thought. I now love myself and give love to all others. My divine creativity now flows through me with new ideas. Add now into all your affirmations. There you go, gang. That's it right there. Let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. Thank you so much for being here. And we will come to you with the next sections. Go through this over and over and over again, because coming into presence, those 5 steps, we have 2 slides with 5 steps. Man, do those. They will change your life. Come into presence. It will help you connect with your spirit so you can hear the whispers and find your next steps in fulfilling your soul purpose. Love you guys.